Alright class, today we're going to explore the difference between weather and climate, two words you've probably heard a lot. Although they both describe what's happening in the atmosphere, they're actually quite different, and understanding the patterns of weather and climate helps us make sense of the world around us. These patterns are key scientific ideas that show us how Earth's systems are connected and how they change over time. Let's start with weather. Weather is what's happening outside right now. It includes things like whether it's sunny, rainy, windy, or snowy. It also includes the temperature, how hot or cold it is, and how fast the wind is blowing. Weather can change from day to day and even hour to hour. One minute it might be sunny, and the next minute, clouds could roll in and it could start raining. That's why we look at the weather forecast to know what to expect when we leave the house each day. For example, if you're planning to go outside today, you might want to know if it will rain or if it will be warm enough to wear shorts. That's weather, short-term changes in the atmosphere. It's based on conditions like precipitation, rain or snow, humidity, how much moisture is in the air, and wind speed. These elements of weather change quickly and are often specific to a certain place. Climate. Climate is very different from weather. While weather is all about what's happening today or tomorrow, climate is the average pattern of weather in a place over a long period of time. It doesn't change day to day, but it's based on patterns that have developed over decades or even centuries. For example, if we say that a place has a warm and dry climate, that means that over many years the weather in that place is usually warm and doesn't have much rain. You can think of climate as the long-term pattern of weather in an area. A place near the equator, like the rainforest, has a hot and wet climate. On the other hand, areas near the poles, like the Arctic, have a cold climate because they're far from the sun's direct rays. Here's a helpful way to remember the difference. Weather is like a snapshot, and climate is like a long-term movie. If you take a picture of the weather today, it might be sunny, but if you watch a movie of the climate, you'll notice the big patterns that repeat year after year. For example, in the summer it tends to be warmer, and in the winter it's usually colder. These seasonal changes are part of a climate pattern. One of the most important parts of studying climate is looking at how it changes over long periods of time. Climate scientists collect data about temperature, precipitation, and other factors over many years to track patterns. For example, we know that climate change is happening because scientists have noticed that average global temperatures have been rising over the last century. This is a long-term change that affects Earth's systems in different ways, like changing the patterns of rain, snow, and wind. The sun plays a major role in both weather and climate because it provides the energy that drives these processes. The sun's heat warms the air, land, and oceans, and these interactions create wind, storms, and other weather events. Over time, the sun's energy also helps shape the overall climate of a region. So to sum it up, weather is the short-term conditions we see each day, whether it's sunny, rainy, or windy, while climate is the long-term pattern of weather over many years. Both are important for understanding the patterns of change on Earth's surface and in the atmosphere. And remember, the next time you check the weather report, you're learning about the short-term conditions, but when we talk about the climate of a region, we're looking at the big picture. Now let's get started by collecting some weather data from today and comparing it to what we know about our local climate.